Judicial review proceedings have been lodged in the High Court with the aim of forcing the Irish government to suspend all military-related trade with Israel and to stop flights transporting weapons to the Israeli army through Irish airspace. The legal action is being taken by Uplift, Phoenix Law, The Ditch and Irish-Palestinian surgeon Dr. Ahmad El-Mokhalalati. We're joined now by Brian Cuthbert, Deputy Director at Uplift. Brian, thank you for joining me on Drivetime this evening. Will you tell us more about this case and why you're taking it, please?
Sure, glad to speak to you today. So the Irish government has been allowing weapons to be transported from Ireland to the Israeli Defence Forces who are slaughtering people in Gaza. The Irish government has called this a genocide, but at the same time they're continuing to allow these weapons to be sent to Israel. People across Ireland refuse to stand by any longer and allow this to continue. That's why we're taking this legal action today, to stop the arms trade with Israel and flights to Irish airspace carrying weapons.
Now, the Department of Transport has given us a statement. The government would take issue with some of what you have said there, and this statement on behalf of the Departments of Foreign Affairs and Justice as well, saying that it is examining the allegations of contravention of Irish law regarding the carriage of munitions of war on civil aircraft. This examination is not yet complete, and every effort is being made to complete it as soon as possible. Do you acknowledge the government is working on this?
To be honest, we don't. We issued our first letter to the government.
We're having a little bit of a problem with your line, Brian. Just bear with us and we may be able to establish a better line. Brian, I tell you what, just hold for a moment and we'll try to get you back on a better line. It's Drive Time. It's 51551 for your text, 0870 32 32 32. We'll be back in just a moment. And it's John Cook and Claire Brock with you this evening. As I mentioned to you before the break, we were talking about judicial review proceedings being lodged in the High Court with the aim of forcing the Irish government to suspend military-related trade with Israel and to stop flights transporting weapons to the Israeli army through Irish airspace. And Brian Cuthbert, Deputy Director at Uplift, is with me. And Brian, you were saying you don't accept the word of the government or the Department of Transport, Foreign Affairs and Justice that say they are examining these allegations. The Department of Transport did confirm to us in September of last year that 9 civilian flights linked to Israeli destinations had entered Irish space without permission. They have acknowledged what has been happening, have they?
Thanks, John. Acknowledgements are not good enough at this point. We issued our first letter to the government about this in October 2024. They replied to us in February saying that they're still conducting their review, but that they don't necessarily accept that this is happening. The Ditch have proven this is happening. Companies like ASL Airlines and Powell Electronics in Ireland have actually issued apologies for sending weapons components to Israel. But the government are still burying their heads in the sand. The people in Gaza cannot wait any longer. This government has admitted that what's happening is a genocide, so they should immediately suspend all military and dual-use trade with Israel and the flights to Irish airspace until such time as their review is concluded. This is too serious an issue to just let go on the long finger.
And I mentioned to you some of what the government has said on this previously. The Taoiseach Micheál Martin has said as of October in the Dáil that civil aircraft cannot carry munitions of war without an exemption granted by the Minister for Transport, and the Department of Transport telling us they will examine this. They are examining it. It's not yet complete.
Yeah, again, like we said, as the government had, Micheál Martin himself has said, there is a genocide happening in Gaza. So as a matter of urgency, these flights and this trade should be suspended until that review is complete. Again, the people in Gaza do not have time to be waiting around for government ministers and government officials to conduct reviews. We've seen very little in terms of real action from the government on this. We've heard a lot of nice words, but it seems like they're piggybacking off the goodwill of the Irish people when it comes to solidarity with Palestine.
The Taoiseach Simon Harris has said there is a need for consideration of amending domestic legislation to allow random inspections of aircraft suspected of carrying weapons or components through Irish airports. And he referred to this robust examination by the Department of Transport to verify allegations of undeclared munitions transports, and that any breaches of Irish laws banning munitions of war on civil aircraft must be followed up with evidence-based action, including potential prosecution of airlines or companies involved. But you feel this isn't enough, Brian, hence this legal action?
Yeah, I mean, it is ridiculous that we are having to take our own government to court just to make them follow their own laws and to comply with the Genocide Convention. Again, the Irish government have been experts at wringing their hands and giving out sound bites when it comes to Palestine. But under the Genocide Convention, they are obligated to prevent and punish the crime of genocide. They haven't done enough to prevent genocide in that they're allowing weapons transfers to go through Irish airspace, they're issuing licences for dual-use trade with Israel, and they haven't done anything to punish the crime of genocide. We've seen them completely refuse to sanction Israel and do everything they can to stop the Occupied Territories Bill from being passed.
We mentioned the ongoing government investigations. Your proceedings lodged today. Briefly, what happens next, Brian?
So again, given the urgency of the situation in Gaza, we are looking for an immediate leave hearing. We're looking to meet with a judge hopefully tomorrow or Thursday in the hopes of having a leave hearing. And it's our intention to progress this case as fast as possible. We would hope that it doesn't need to come to a judge's decision, that the government would actually suspend these flights and suspend the trade without having to go all the way through the court system. But we're willing to fight it to the end if we need to.
Brian Cuthbert, Deputy Director at Uplift, and as I mentioned, that government statement saying every effort is being made to complete this examination as soon as possible.